Disposal units in Space Station 14, otherwise known as disposals, is how trash is managed in the game. Well, it's not always trash. Disposals take basically anything that could be thrown into it. That includes anything from a person to an actual piece of trash to a gun, whatever. Whatever fits in a disposal tube will be sent through disposals. So, in order to see what these disposal pipe segments are, a T-ray scanner will show you what's underneath the tiles. Otherwise, you could just crowbar them open to see what's underneath. But, for example, you can always figure out where disposal pipes go by simply looking at the pipes and then examining which way the arrows are pointing. In this case, it's kind of hard to see because there's this vent here, but if I were to just delete the vent real quick, you can see the arrows pointing left, and I know the cable's on it, and it's not always this hard to see, but this is probably the worst case scenario, so I think it makes a good example. So this pipe will go straight down into here, and then it shoots left because the arrows are pointing left. And the same thing here, the arrow is again pointing left, again, a little hard to see. And it would just keep following the pipe and keep following the arrows. It is pretty simple. So if I just jump into the disposal, which you can just click and drag yourself in it, or you can right click it and jump inside. Once you're inside, you can either left click it and then open it and flush it, or you can just alt click it itself to flush yourself, and you will not be able to do anything until you reach the end of the disposals pipe. In this case, you go into disposals, and this is the recycler. By default, all disposals will route here. Most stations have very easy ways of sabotaging disposals in creative ways. For example, on this station, which is Cluster Station, you can break into the bridge with one easy trick. Just pull out your T-ray. Remember that the disposals junction's here. Crowbar this up. Simply unwrench this. And then in the construction menu, you want to type in junction. And you're going to want a Y junction because you can see I can get the arrow to point up. And if I just build this, put the tile back down. Ideally, you'd want to get rid of this, but you can get rid of it by welding it. So make sure you have a welding mask when you're doing this. And you don't even need the T-ray, so really you only need a wrench and a 2 pieces of steel in most cases. And a crowbar to get the tile up. So now if I put myself in this disposal unit, I will send myself straight into the bridge trash can. In this case, it goes into the meeting hall. Well, yeah, the pipes led all the way here and here. So if you were to get in here, you could hack your way out or hope somebody comes and gets you, depending on the level of prank you're doing. Or you could just always hop back in and flush yourself, and you'll just ride disposals like normal. Except, in this case, I ended up going back to the original disposal unit. So, as you can see, there are definitely some ways to get creative with it. And I'm not entirely sure how it works. I think it just randomly picks whether you go straight or down when you're going the incorrect way. But either way, I can't get stuck in this one because I could always just keep ejecting myself out. Yeah, it seems to just pick randomly, so now I ended up in security. You could reroute things better, obviously, to not have this problem, but I don't know. For some reason, I don't really see people use disposals that often. And, but just by the way, just for completion's sake, if a pipe is unwrenched and it's not a complete loop and you flush yourself, you'll just end up right where it's disconnected. And to make a disposal unit is really easy. You just need steel, low voltage cables, and plastic. So if I just spawn myself in a little bit of plastic, you can actually do some really interesting things. So, so if I want to build a disposal, for example, so like say I can't hack these doors, but I have the materials in order to build this. So you need a trunk. So if I want to go left, I want the trunk facing left. So with just some steel, I could place the trunk. And then I could place a disposal unit like that. And just follow the construction steps. And also you would need some LV cables. So if you were planning on breaking into somewhere, you'd obviously want all this stuff at first. And then plastic. and a screwdriver. But realistically, you don't need that many tools to make use of this. So now we have a functioning disposal unit. And if I jump in it and flush myself, it won't work because, well, the pipe doesn't go anywhere. It's just on the same tile. What you can do, and that's really sneaky, is you can actually build underneath tiles, like so. And if I show you what happens now, no hacking required. I'm now free, and that required 2 4 steel, 6 steel, 2 plastic, 2 low voltage cables, a screwdriver, and a wrench. That's all it takes to be able to get into somewhere you don't want, or into somewhere that you don't have access to. Results may vary. So, like, for example, if I did it here, I would have to make 2 disposals. That's all I really got for now. I don't think building pipes underneath, like, 1 tile's an exploit. You can't use this to, like, break into the armory because it doesn't work in 2 wall tile. It doesn't work past the 1 tile you can see. Like, if I were to show you, like, I can't... You can't place the ghost past the object you can see. So there's a lot of areas you can't use this to break into. So, like, I don't know how much of an exploit it is, but it's really useful for getting through 1 wall areas. So, might be a strategy worth considering. I don't see this very often. I especially, okay, I see some disposals get rerouted sometimes, but I almost never see anyone actually make their own to break into somewhere or break out of somewhere. But anyways, I hope you learned something. Pretty short video, but just some interesting things.